Hello and welcome, folks, to the third episode of Teatime Tales. Welcome back after I took a little break for Thanksgiving last week. So, if you were celebrating Thanksgiving here in the States, hope you had a good one. Hope you're shaking off the turkey coma by now. I know I wasn't content with one, so we got some more food at one point and had a second Thanksgiving in true Hobbit fashion, which was a good time. So, with that being said, let's get started. As always, kind of what this whole Tea Time Tales thing is about is testing ground for new decks. These are decks still in progress, and my goal is always to try decks that, there's never anything truly new under the sun. There's always combinations that people have tried before and whatnot. And so I'm not necessarily trying to break like first ground, but I am looking to do decks that I haven't necessarily seen that commonly, or stuff that I at least haven't tried out. So it's kind of the goal is to test some new stuff. So with that being said, today we are going to be playing a deck that I've called Heart of Gold. And this is by popular demand, according to the Twitter poll that I ran. This is a Nasia deck, barely beating out an Aragorn Rohirrim deck for the choice this week. And I was excited about that choice because I've been wanting to... Nasia is like the hero that I want to love, but I haven't quite found the deck. Like, I love the story behind the character. She started out as a bad villain and, got her redemption, spoiler alert, partway through the Dream Chaser cycle. So I like that whole story. Of course, she's a pirate. I love the art. So just everything about the character I've really loved. But I've just found a hard time finding a deck that I really have been inspired to use often that includes her. And I did have a previous iteration that I believe I posted on Tales from the Cards at one point. But and that was the same version that originally I was planning on running here, which was an Arwen, Denethor, and Nasia deck with, of course, Student of Gondor. You kind of set Steward of Gondor on Nasia, set and forget, and she's off to the races and doing her thing. Now, that was fine, and it works well, but the thing was that... no hate on those two heroes, but I'm reaching the point of like oversaturation with Arwen and Denethor, where I've basically, like, whenever I'm struggling with a deck or a hero that I want to use, pop in Arwen and Denethor, it works now. So it's fine. Like, I have no hate if you're using those heroes because I still use them plenty. But especially when I was thinking about kind of what I want to do with this series and do some new stuff, I was like, okay, let me at least move away from the combination of Arwen and Denethor. As you can see, I still have Arwen here, but I was like, okay, let me mix it up a bit. So what I did is I brought in my favorite hero. This is the first appearance of the man, the myth, the legend, Grima Wormtongue himself on Tea Time Tales. I'm sure it definitely won't be the last. So brought in Grima to pair with Arwen instead. Kind of the basic idea of the deck is the same, which is using Nasia to her fullest. So the goal is she handles all the combat, or nearly all the combat, and the rest of the deck, including the other two heroes, basically just handle the questing and the support. And so basically she's just there to take care of the entire combat phase, which is kind of a big deal. And so instead of Steward of Gondor, the resource engine is basically Keys of Orthanc, which you can see here. I got my hand. And also Arwen. Now you may be thinking to yourself, but Nasia is not an elf. She can't get a resource from Arwen. So that's why I actually have Elfriend in the deck. So at one point, Arwen, once Elfriend is on Nasia, Arwen can start generating resources for Nasia if need be. And there's also resourcefuls in this deck. This isn't a secrecy deck, but I just straight up pay for them. Well, close to straight up as you can get with Grima, because obviously Grima can reduce that cost to 3. And put those on Nasia, and eventually you kind of get the equivalent of a steward, sometimes even better if you really get going. I think at the end of the day, the Arwen Denethor version is maybe better, arguably better. But this one has it beat in card draw because of lore and also potentially consistency. Because if you get stuck without Steward, then don't really have a ton of other ways to generate resources in that other deck. There's a couple cards here and there, like gaining strength and whatnot. But in this one, because you have the different pieces like keys and resourceful and Arwen's ability, you have some options. You don't get stuck. So beyond that piece, that's kind of the deck. You'll see the rest of it as we go, per usual. But that's the basic idea: is get Missy as many resources as possible, get her redding effects, and away we go. Now I'm playing an oldie but goodie, massing at Osgiliath today. Decided to take a little bit of a break from the newer quests. I still find massing to be mostly a good testing scenario because of the fact it hits you with enemies right away. It has that good balance of questing and combat. I say mostly because as a lot of earlier quests do, it has some wonky stuff in it, like some just straight up like bad shadow effects, like one that just removes the attack and treats it as undefended with no choice in the matter. So there's some pretty terrible stuff like that. There's also, if you remember, the quest stage 3 where you have to discard a hero or a ranger of Athelion. So if you haven't found a ranger by that point, then you have to discard a hero. So if that ends up happening to me, maybe you'll see one of those much talked about scoops. Alright, so the other things, as always, tea will be consumed. I have some nice Earl Grey tea, Earl Grey hot today, because my son woke me up early, so I'm operating a little sleep. Taking a drink now. Make sure you follow me on Twitter for future polls so you can have a say in what I play. We're going to try to keep it within an hour. I went a little over last time. There may be scoops depending on how things go and if I lose a hero early. And finally, as always, mistakes will be made. Hopefully they'll be few and far between, but you can always count on me for at least one mistake, right? And so away we go. Thanks for the people joining me in chat. And so we start off with the opening hand here. And it's a pretty good one because I got the keys at least. So let's get started. And I've got setup going with one each of the scout enemies. And that's it. Witch King will eventually come out. And we can't travel to West Bank locations because we're on the east side of the river right now, trying to make it across. The important thing is basically I don't want to quest through this too fast because, again, I'm basically waiting to get one of those rangers. I need to stall, turtle a little bit, and get one of those rangers. Now, the problem is... potential problem is that this deck does, because there's Grima, there's also Deep Knowledge as a form of card draw, which you can see here. Threat can become an issue at some point. I do have quite a few reduction effects in here, threat reduction effects, but something to keep in mind that turtling isn't like an infinite thing with this deck. Alright, so first things first, we're gonna wanna get the keys out as soon as possible. But I think first things first, I like options in life. So let's play Deep Knowledge and get our first Doom on the board. I feel like if this was a game show, there'd have to be some kind of special doomed sound effects right about now. Okay, so I got my Unexpected Courage, I got some reduction. Looking pretty good. I think actually... what I want to do here is... yeah, let's go ahead and do the keys first. Anasia, that's kind of like the basic setup play of the deck. And... I want to see... having a Hennemarth River Song is just always bonkers good in solo. But especially in this quest, that will help me really get a glimpse and see what's coming so I don't quest too quickly. So I'm gonna trigger Grima right away. Lowers the cost of the next card you play by 1, and that card gains Doom 1, so I can play Henamarth for free. Up by 1, Henamarth comes in, trigger keys, we're off to the races. Let's exhaust Henamarth to see what we got coming. A Wainwriter Captain. Okay. Not the best thing in the world because he has some hefty 3 threat and we're really getting hit with a lot of enemies right away, but it's fine. Basically, the good thing here is that this captain has a when revealed effect that moves and brings other scout enemies from the discard pile, but there are none because it's the first turn of the game. Okay, with that in mind, I'm probably going to need some more questing power because I'm already staring down the barrel of 4. I think I might actually just have to take some thread on the chin because I really want to get Unexpected Courage out so that Nasia can defend and then kill something. So let's go ahead and discard Elven Light. Give Arwen a resource, give her a progress to show she used her ability. Spend the thing. Give Nasia Unexpected Courage. Alright, let's do it. So that's 3, that's 5. Play Elrond's Council, go down by 3. Get an extra willpower, so we're looking at 6 to 4. We know it's ultimately going to be 6 to 7. Doing my math correctly, yep. No scouts to bring back. Yeah, 6 to 7, so I'm going to lose by 1. That's fine. That's not the end of the world at this point. I just do need to get some willpower out soon. This dude has to come down at the beginning of the encounter phase. This dude will come down because I'm making a ruckus. These two will stay here. Don't want to bite off too much at the moment. I always find these wolves an interesting design because they have an effect that after they destroy a character they get shuffled, so it's actually like demanding like you to feed someone to the wolves, as Chris is pointing out in the chat, who's getting eaten by wolves. Sometimes I like throwing out the Sylvan refugee and having them get eaten by wolves, but in this case I'm not going to be taking that route. Let me catch up on chat a little bit. Hoots from Airborne, nice screen name. Grima's gonna get discarded, potentially. You might hear me sobbing openly on air if I have to discard Grima. What else? Electron John, this deck has so much Doomed, it might as well check into Mordor and Foursquare. Yeah, it has a lot of Doomed. This is Doomed all day. I should experiment throwing Ceramon in here just for the fun of it. Alright, so no one's gonna get eaten by wolves. I'm gonna take the Snaga Scouts undefended. Nothing. Let's just go ahead and throw that on Arwen, because there's not really treacheries in here that deal damage to questing characters, thankfully. We'll defend the wolves with Nasia. Defending player must discard 1 ally or attacking enemy gets 3. Yeah. Let's discard an ally. So I don't have to spend too many resources. So that's 4. We'll spend 1 resource. Sorry, she was already readied. So she's 4 defense. So that's 4 to 4, no damage. Attack back with Nasia. Spend the resource again. Now she's attacking for 4. And the wolves are dead. So that's just like the basic illustration of Nasia, like how useful she can be, like right off the bat, just pumping her defense, pumping her attack. It's definitely resource intensive. I think there's probably a deck out there where you don't even focus on throwing her like a whole huge resource engine like I've done here. She's just kind of a utility hero, but haven't quite built that one yet. Alright, next round. Boop. remove the marker from Arwen. Let's peek ahead, see what we got. And oh, my friend, the ranger is there. Okay. So potentially Grima won't have to get discarded after all. You're safe this day, Grima. Okay. Well, with that in mind, let's go ahead and start with triggering Grima to pay quick beam for 1. That triggers the keys. Gonna right away trigger Quick Beam's ability, because why not? When you're designed to have no real downside, that's fine. Totally not hating. I'm fine to have a power ally like Quick Beam in the game. Okay. Drinking my tea, and I mean, I could get the Handmaiden out for additional willpower or draw a card. The thing is, I really hate to get rid of Hasty Stroke to get that resource to Arwen, because there's just so much there's some really bad shadow effects in this quest. So yeah, let's not do that. Instead, let's just draw a card using Elven Light. Oh, look at that. We got Resourceful. Okay. Sorry, I was going to discard Resourceful. No, let's not do that. Let's discard the Elven Light. Got a resource for Arwen. We got 5 in the staging area. We're going to have at least 7 with the ranger coming, but we don't know what else is going to go. So I'm wondering if I should keep Quick Beam up and just eat the threat once again. Yeah, just to be safe. We're going to turtle a little bit more. Okay, so he comes in exhausted, committed to the quest. That gives me 7. Ooh, wolves again. Okay. So we're up against 6. I actually make 1 progress there. The wolves have to come down. So originally I wanted to bring the Wayne Riders down. The little Wayne Riders. But I think I'm going to have them chill for another round, because I drew this enemy. Tempted to do it undefended again, so I can do some killing. Yeah, let's do it. Yep, no problem there. Now the reason I'm doing that, there's actually a shadow effect in here that's bad for undefended, that gives them like a +2 attack, I believe, to undefendeds. But I can eat that with Nasia, or I do have Hasty Stroke. So defend. Nathan. Let's spend that resource. Block the attack. And with Quick Beam and Nasia, don't even have to spend a resource. Although I could take out both enemies. It's eating up some of my resources, but yeah, let's do that. Take that back. Let's do Quick Beam, takes out this guy finally, and then Nasia will spend the resource to have 4 attack, take out the wolves. Alright, not too shabby. Next round. Alright, it's the return of Double Back, used it this week. Now, this week it's not for any victory shenanigans, it's just more threat reduction for a very doomed heavy deck, and helps you to just waste some time when you're doing like I am and internaling a little bit. So let's first peek ahead. Tell me what your elf eyes see, Hanemarth River Song. They see another Wolves from Mordor. Okay, I'm sensing a pattern here. Let's go ahead and double back. Put that out there. Just considering, I want to get resourceful out as soon as possible. Just because the earlier you get it out, the more you benefit. So let's play resourceful, raise our threat by 1 using Grima's ability. Play it for 3 on Nasia. Trigger the keys, of course. And still can't get my Handmaiden out quite yet. And still don't want to discard either of these cards. So yeah, I wonder if I should at this point though, just to get this card draw so-called engine going that's not really going that quickly. There's other questing allies that I can draw, right? Right? Okay, let me take a chance on that. So let me discard for 1. So that's Arwen's ability used. I forgot to take off the marker, but that's fine. Then we'll play Elven Light, bring it back. I get that. Okay, that's fine. I did say there were other copies in the deck, right? Okay. So we know we're going up against 6. We're gonna make double back the the active quest. We'll quest with 3 and 5 and 7. So we're gonna make a big whopping. I might as well go with Quick Beam 2. 9. Wolves come out to play. That is 6. That's just making sure my math is right. Yep. So 5, 7, 9. So 3 quest points on double back. Bring down the wolves. These guys still don't have to come down yet. And Electron John says, whiffs on hobbits with Tom Cotton. Can't avoid handmaidens with Arwen. They're just like the gang of friends who just really want to hang out with her when she's trying to hang out with other people, right? And I think my luck on Twitch is just bad. My Octagon knows when I'm on Twitch. Alright, defend. Defending player must discard 1 ally card, or it gets +3 attack. So that would be 7. I would have to pump a lot. I don't want to do that. Yeah. Sorry, handmaidens. I'm just not feeling the handmaidens today. Booster defense, attack back. I'm just really concerned with keeping the board clear at this moment, so that's why I made that choice, because otherwise I'd have to use the resource or take a bunch of damage on Nasia. I do have healing in here with Urith, so once she shows up I have a bit more options. Alright, next round. Boo-doo-doo. Galathrium's Greeting. Never sad to see that in the Doomed Heavy decks. But I want some more options. Discard. Get a resource. Pay it back. Bring back Elven Light. You know the drill by now. Oh, there's Elfriend. Oh, can't forget to get my resource from Resourceful. So let's... I don't need to trigger the Doom to play Elfriend, but I will, just to give Nasia a bit more of a head start. Elfriend goes on Nasia. Keys of Orthanc. Oh, I didn't need to spend that resource from Grima. That's what I was just talking about. And this goes up by 1. Okay. Everything's situated. Yeah, this is pretty much the kind of ideal setup for Nasia here. Got a Resourceful, got keys, got Unexpected Courage, got a Resourceful. There's more Resourceful and more Unexpected Courages, but this is kind of like the baseline that I'm going for. Let's peek ahead, see what the crystal ball tells us. Just the captured watchtower. We haven't crossed the Anduin yet, so this will just be a 1 threat. So that's all good for me. So I'm facing 5. I just need to send 6 to clear double back. So 3, 5, 7. Watchtower appears. That's 7 to 6. Clears the double back. Send it to the victory display. And go down by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at 28 threats, so at this point I got my ranger. My board is getting pretty well set up. I can start thinking about making progress on this thing. The second quest stage is the one where you can only play 1 card at all for a round, which I hate. I hate not playing my cards, so I'm going to try to breeze through that one. So it's really quest stage 1 where you're just getting set up. Jank Tank Agot. Nice screen name. Asked, do you run any attachments for her? Probably not, but an Elven Cloak or Raiment of War might be fun. No, I did experiment with... oh god, what did I have? Like taking further advantage of Elfrand with like Rivendell Blade and Elven Spear. I tried that out. I thought of Raiment of War, of trying that, but in the end I just ended up cutting it all. It was kind of clogging up the deck for the support cards I needed and really more willpower. I think with what she has and the resource engine, she's fine in combat. Might depend on the quest though. Like if there's a quest that's really hitting you hard with combat, maybe you throw those in and maybe willpower isn't as much of a priority. So I think there's some room for experimentation there. Alright, we're up against... so we finished that. We can't travel to the watchtower. So we will go to combat. I can only optionally engage 1. I'll take on the little Wayne Riders. And defend. If yeah, that's the shadow effect I'm talking about. If it's undefended, then the enemy gets +2. That's another nasty shadow in here. In this case, it doesn't matter. I could just take a damage. I think I'll just take a damage. Because unlike our more recent quests where they punish you for being damaged, this quest does not. It helps to know your quests. And I will attack back. Oh, I need to raise my threat for the Wayne Rider's effect. Each damage dealt does raise the threat by 1. And I'll attack back. Spend a resource. Before I do that, I forgot I have quick beam here. That's 5. Yeah, I don't even need to spend a resource. Goodbye. I love you, quick beam. Don't ever change. Next round. Okay, got my Daron's Ruins. Let's go ahead and use that. I got more Elven Light. Arwen is just shining like a lamp right about now. I'll discard that for the Daron's Ruins. I get an additional resource for the keys. I guess before I do anything else, let me just peek ahead so that can guide my planning. Another Ranger Battalion. It must be Christmas. Okay. Only bad part, and I'm looking at a gift horse in the mouth, is then when you see that, because it surges, you don't really see what the card is going to be after that. But again, I'm not going to complain about another free ally. Nope. So let's go ahead and pay 1 to bring this Elven Light back in. Draw a card. Ooh, another Unexpected Courage. Yeah, I won't argue with that. So use Grima's ability. To reduce the cost by 1. That triggers keys. Bring in the by now expected courage. And then we can play Mablung for free. I could bring this dude down now and get some of the threat out of the staging area. And I think since I got these extra unexpected courages, I can afford to do that and not be too freaked out. So yeah, let's choose him with Mablung, and we'll engage him. Think that'll do me. I can still trigger Arwen's ability. I could give Nasia an extra resource, but I think I'll give it to Arwen so that I can save up for Galathrium's Greeting and potentially use Hasty Stroke. Alright, let's do this thing. I will send 3. I will send 5. I think I'll send 7. I think that's fine. Yep. He comes in. Committed to the quest. That's 9. Doomed 1. Okay, that's fine. Each player must discard all ally cards from his hand. If able, there are none. So yeah, we're just gonna blast through this thing. I probably could have turtled some more, to be honest. But and that probably would be the smart move if I had unlimited time. Just kind of turtle. But I think I'm feeling okay about where I'm at. Having another resourceful would be nice, I think, at this point. But I think we're okay. So we did 8. That's enough to smash through that. We move to the next quest stage. Modern quests tend to punish you a lot more for just sitting in the first quest stage. Okay, so still can't travel to West Bank locations, and again, this is what I was talking about. Each player cannot play or put into play, so just at all, more than one card from his hand each round. That's rough. That's why I hate that one. Okay. This guy is going to attack. He has no special abilities once he's in play. If the players have not yet crossed the Anduin, return any current active location to the staging area. And Morgul Dune becomes the active location. So I don't like that one because this location damages each character that commits to the quest. But I have some options available, and I'll save my Hasty Stroke for something truly crippling. Spend a resource for Nasia to block the damage. I don't want to take another damage with her because there is a shadow effect that just straight up deals 2 damage to the defending character, so I want to keep her with 3 hit points at least remaining at all times. I do have Hasty Stroke, of course, but again, just playing it safe. And going back to the question about combat attachments, for the one benefit of it is you do spend obviously you take some of her resources to play the attachment, but over the course of the game you might save some. Like if you have something that boosts her defense to 3 here, then I wouldn't have to spend that resource, and so you kind of have to weigh that upfront cost versus your kind of resources over the course of the whole game. Okay, so I can strike back for 3, 5, 7, which is enough. I don't even have to spend a resource. And next round, Nasia gets another resource. This is a card that we haven't seen in play yet that I really like in this deck, actually, which is Sparehood and Cloak. The reason why is because we haven't seen some of these allies, but I have people like Yorith and Master of the Forge that have kind of an exhaust ability. So you can put a Sparehood and Cloak on them, and then either they use their ability, you can just kind of keep them ready until the combat phase, then they can either use their ability or they can use Sparehood and Cloak to ready Nasia, give her extra readies, again, so she can handle all the combat. And then the rounds where there's no combat and she's just chilling with a cloak on her, then you can exhaust her and send the cloak back. So Sparehood and Cloak actually is a card that I've struggled to make work in the past, but in this deck it works really, really well. I'm happy with that card. Right now I don't happen to have any of the allies that I love to put on it. That being said, so I think I'll hold off on that. Comment from the chat. I'm struggling to say your screen name without making this not safe for work. Roka fucks? Failed that one. This would kill your handmaidens anyway. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's more and more. I love the 2-hit willpower and two cost spirit allies, but there's a lot of quests that just hit you with direct damage, and then your questers like could wipe out half your questing board. So any questers with more than 1 hit point are worth their weight in gold. All right. So let's peek ahead, see what we got on the menu. Ruins of Osgiliath. If the players have not crossed through Anduin, it basically turns into a 4-threat location. Right now we haven't, so we're basically going to be looking at 2-threat. Oh wait, was that if you have not? Yeah, okay, so this is going to be 4-threat right off the bat. Mr. Trench says, dude, it's Fuchs, like the guy in the thing. You're probably right, but I buckled under pressure. I buckled under the pressure of that screen name. Alright. So I can only play 1 card this round. Wah, wah, wah. I think in the absence of any other like really appealing options, I think I might just discard for that and then just play Galathium's Greeting. Yep, that's the only card I played this round. So that takes me down to 27. So I think I'm feeling pretty good about my threat at this point. I can focus on doing other stuff, thanks to that double back and this Galathium's Greeting. Alright, we're going to face down 4. I'm not sure if I totally want to just quest through yet. Even though this quest stage effect sucks, I kind of want to set up for the Witch King a little bit more. So we're going to be facing down this guy, which is 4, right? And 5, so we're going to be looking at 5. Keeping in mind Morgul doing damages. That's 3 and 5. Hopefully I can get Urith out soon. I can quest with these dudes because they're going to be river bait soon anyway, or at least one of them is. That's just enough to clear. That's fine. That's kind of all I want to do. And then I'll spend the next stage here. Boop, boop. That's 4 and 5. Yep, so 9 to 5 is 4. 1, 2, 3. And 4. Kick that location to the curb. I hate that one. I can still travel to East Bank locations, so let's get this high threat out of there. And did not forget anything. Move to the next round. There he is. There's the Master of the Forge. Yeah, I think that's going to be my card for the round. I'll raise my threat and use Grima's ability. Even though I don't need to, just to get another resource on Nasia, build her up. I can't put the cloak on him because I can only play 1 card per turn, but I can use his ability at least. Searching for an attachment. Nothing but another keys, but that's fine. That's shuffle. Make sure my deck is shuffled. That's Arwen fodder. And I can't play Elven Lion, unfortunately. I did not use Arwen's ability this turn. I think I'll just discard the keys to give another resource to Nasia. Why not? And I forgot, generally it's good practice to peek, use Hen and Marth at the beginning of planning so you can decide what to play. But ignoring my own advice. Pelennor Fields, my old friend. I hate this location because it only has one threat, but once you've crossed the river, then it forces you to travel to it, and it's 7 quest points, or you take extra threat, and the Witch King places threat on you, so something to keep in mind. Right now, it's not too bad. I think I'm going to advance this round purposefully. So only 2 threat. We've got 2 quest points, 4 more, 6. I just need to send 8 willpower, basically. So let's send 3, 5, 7, and 9. Boop. That is 2. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Next quest phase. This is the Anduin Crossing. Now we're actually going Oregon Trail style and trying to cross this river while hoping no one gets swept away or dies of dysentery. So there's still no combats. I can't travel to either East or West Bank at this point, so those guys are just gonna have to sit there and we move to the next round. Nasia gets a resource. I'm not stuck by the 1 card per round anymore, thankfully. Let's get Darren's Ruins, get more options. Discard the Elven Light for the Ruins. I will put the Spare Hood and Cloak on the Master of the Forge. Let's see if there's going to be any combat, because that will determine whether I'm going to use his ability or not. Nope, just Morgul Dune again, which isn't bad when it's just the when it's revealed normally and not the shadow effect, because with 1 threat you can just leave it there. So let's use the Master of the Forge ability since there's no combat coming. Well, that's not true. We do have the Witch King coming, but there's no other enemies, so I don't think I'm going to need the Spare Hood and Cloak. More keys. Apparently, there's just like all kinds of extra copies of the Keys to Orthanc just laying around Middle Earth. He made like too many and is just leaving them everywhere. I'll blame that on Saruman and not Grima, because I heart Grima. Yeah, we haven't technically crossed the Anduin yet, so this is just going to be 3 threat across the board. Okay, so to remind you, in order to commit characters to the quest, a player must first choose a hero or 1 Ranger of Athelion card he controls. Discard each chosen card from play. I think I will pick a Ranger. Sorry. I'm not going to discard any of my precious people. Now we can safely commit. We've paid that cost. We'll send 5. And that's enough. We don't need to send any more than that, actually. Because Morgul Dune will pop out. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's more than enough. And now it is time for the arrival of the Witch King. There he is, with his eyes and the helmet just floating in the air. So in order to beat the game, we have now crossed the Anduin. We can't travel to East Bank. If we defeat this stage, then we win the game. So it's just a simple 15 quest points you win, but we do have the Witch King to worry about. We've crossed the Anduin, which means the captured watchtower goes up to 4 threat, so let's travel to that. We remember with Pelennor Fields that if you're faced with the option to travel and you don't travel there, you have to raise your threat by 3. I will do that and go up to 33 because my threat is not too out of control yet. Alright. The Witch King does not have to come down, but I will bring him down. Just a reminder, because that may have been a while for you guys. 6 stats all around the board, 11 hit points. Can't play attachments, so no Force Snare on the Witch King. While he's in the staging area, each character gets -1 will, which is really nasty. And after he attacks, you either have to put him back in the staging area or raise your threat by 3. So lots of threat pressure. Alright. Defend with Nasia, of course. Now, this is the one that really hurts if you get the card that says undefended attack. Treat this attack as undefended, because then you just lose a hero. But that's why I've kept a hasty stroke around. Nope. Don't have to deal with that. So let's go spend 2 resources. She goes up to 6 defense. Handles it like a champ. And then I think we have enough to kill him outright. He takes 17. We have 3, 5, 6, 8. 8 right there. And let's spend a resource getting an additional 2 attack each time. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So we bumped Nasia up a total of 10, up to 12, 15, 17, 18, and that's enough to kill the Witch King. Arwen, eat your heart out. Witch King once again does his big line about no man can defeat me, and Nasia has her big I am no man moment and just destroys him with a little help from an Ent and a couple of other friends. Alright, that felt very satisfying. Witch King dead in 1 turn. That is the power of Nasia. Without feeling quite as dirty as Gondorian Fire, in which you can do that even easier, but at least I felt like I had to come up with an engine here and get something going. Alright, and Chris mentions in the chat, and not add him to the victory display, nothing like killing him and then drawing him again before you win. Yeah, that was an interesting part of the design for this quest, is usually a big boss you'd add him to the victory display. Here, he dies and he can come back, which I think is appropriate. Like, Witch King doesn't actually die until Pelennor Fields, right? In the aforementioned Awen moment, so he should be able to come back. Alright, that's the end of the turn, and now our goal is just to get the hell out of here. Another resource for Nasia. I think we... let's see what's coming. Uruk Vanguard. If the players have crossed the Anduin, he gets +3 attack. Whatever, man. I just killed the Witch King. Think I'm scared of you? With your pointy sword. Okay. Let's start off. Let's take off the progress token because she hasn't used her ability yet. Draw Elven Lights. Okay, we got some questing stuff here. So now let's... Ooh, that zoomed out a little bit. That's okay. Now we'll use Arwen's ability, get a resource. We'll spend 2 outright for Aether Swordsman. We'll use Grima's ability. Ugh. I went up by 2 threat by accident. To pay the Handmaiden for 1, reduce our threat by 1. The Handmaiden and Grima go really well together. And then, yeah, let's just do the thing. So we're up against 1 and 2 threat. There's combat coming, but Nasia can handle that all by herself, no issues. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14. So not quite there yet, but soon. Against 2, that's 10 progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're 8 out of 15. If things go according to plan, don't want to jinx it too early. I should be able to close it out next game. I'm just going to eat the threat and not travel to Pelennor Fields because I don't want to have another 7 quest points to chew through. And I still have some room threat-wise. Defend. Oh, I forgot to trigger my keys because I did use Grima's ability. Okay, defend. Unexpected courage. No shadow. This guy's attacking for 5. I'll just go ahead and spend the 2 to bump Nasia up to 6. No problem. Uh, 9 to chew through here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So Nasia attacks for 10 attack again. What a monster. I love it. Okay, he's dead. Ready up. Resourceful. Boom. Peek ahead. I'm just going to peek ahead to see if it's even worth playing anything or if I'm just going to smash through. Another Vanguard. Yeah, I think at this point I have enough to just get through it. Yeah, that should be fine. So I'm not even going to play anything. Even though you didn't get a chance to see some of my really cool cards. Okay. I'll just draw just for the heck of it. More threat reduction, that's fine. I really wanted you guys to see the Linden Navigator. Because that's an ally I haven't used much. That was pretty much just made for sailing quests. But it works really well in this deck because it is a 2-cost, 2 willpower ally with 2 hit points. Like I was talking about, having 2 hit points is key. And especially against more modern quests that try to damage your questing allies. And doesn't exhaust the quest, so amazing for Spare Hood and Cloak because she can quest and then be available to use the Spare Hood and Cloak. The only problem is that every time you quest, you have to discard a card, which is the big sticking point that usually in a lot of other decks, I'm like, I can't just discard a card every time I use her. But in this deck, you can see that it does fairly well and draw between Elven Light and Darren's Ruins and Deep Knowledge. And Elven Light specifically, as Chris is pointing out in the chat, that Navigator works really well with Elven Light. You can just discard that. I'm so happy. That was actually the very last change I made to this deck, is putting in Linden Navigator, and it's so good. Super happy with that ally, and super happy that it's useful outside of just sailing quests. Alright, that's enough blabbing from me. Let's do this. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15 again, 16 just to show off. Go down by 3, 1, 2, 3. Reveal that pointy sword guy again. That is 12. That's going to take me all the way up to 20 progress, and that is all she wrote. Grima, Nasia, Arwen, and friends make it across the river, and had a good time doing it. I think showed off the power of Nasia. Now, masking off at Osgiliath used to be a really, really tough quest. Not quite so hard, but still not a pushover because of some of the effects and the way things can go. I've tried this deck against some more recent quests, and it does pretty well. I think it is the kind of deck that you want to have a sideboard for. Like, this isn't a one deck to rule them all, because it can get stopped, especially if there's a lot of archery and direct damage. Yorith helps a lot, but for those quests, I would suggest sub in Warden of Healing for one of the lore allies or something else, and you should be golden, and they should be fine for those quests. It does take a little bit of time to set up what you have here, all these attachments on Nasia, but the beauty is the card draw of Lore and Elven Light combined with the resource power of Arwen and Grima. Like, you can get stuff out quickly. And the other benefit, or the other thing I'll say on the issue of getting set up quickly, is that you saw at the beginning of the game that Nasia didn't have too much, but even with just 2 resources and some kind of redding, she's able to defend for 4 and then attack back for 4, which is pretty huge. So yeah, you do need to get some kind of engine set up, but she also has the tools to kind of hold enemies at bay while you get set up. So I need to do more testing and see whether it can beat the truly really difficult quests, but I'm overall pretty happy with this deck. Pretty strong deck. Maybe a few more tweaks could be made here and there, but I like a lot of the pieces, like Linden Navigator and using Sparehead and Cloak, using some of these less often used cards. And overall, I'm just really happy way more happy with this version than the Set It and Forget It Steward of Gondor Denethor version. This has a lot more flavor and interest to it. And at the same time, it's still powerful where, you know, Nasia is just like taking out these huge enemies. And as you saw, handling a lot of the combat phase on her own. She did get help with these rangers and quick beam, but I've had games where you don't draw those attacking allies and still she can handle a lot of the combat phase on her own. So a lot of fun with this deck, and I'm glad to have a deck now that I can actually make of use of Nasia, because I always say Grima is my favorite and Nasia is my second favorite, but then I hardly ever use Nasia. It's more just about her character. But now I think she can finally start earning her place there. Grima has earned his place there a long time ago, and again, he earned his place today. Final question in the chat from Roka Fuchs this time. Nailed it. Does it work in multiplayer with all this Doomed? Probably not. There's quite a bit of Doom. Deep knowledge is usually not as much of a problem, because I've rarely been at a table where people are like, nah, I don't want the cards, unless it's a really threat heavy quest. But all that you're using, because you want to trigger keys that much, pretty much once every round, maybe until you get like 2 or 3 resourcefuls, and then you don't need to do it. It's kind of a lot to ask other players, and there's a lot of threat reduction in here, but you're using it a lot for yourself. So I'd say probably not, unless you want to devote some space to helping other players threat as well. I really wish there was a card that somehow, I'm not sure exactly what it would look like, but some kind of card that would help kind of mitigate Grima in multiplayer so that you could actually use Grima in multiplayer. That would be a dream of mine. That's on my Christmas wish list for the designers. So I think that's about it. Thanks for joining me. You can find the deck I used called Heart of Gold. I didn't even explain why I called it that. So I called this deck Heart of Gold because Nasia is a pirate, and there's a big famous pirate trope of the pirate with a heart of gold, which Nasia is. She's a former pirate who turned out to have a good heart. And also because the whole core of this deck is based around generating resources, aka gold, so its heart is gold. So yeah, I'm probably too proud of that deck name that it deserves. But yeah, go find Heart of Gold, play with it yourself, experiment with it yourself. I'd always love to hear what changes you made and what worked for you. And make sure you follow me on Twitter so you can vote on the next deck I play. And I'll see you next Friday for Teatime Tales.